seems wrong, you carry me. When the road ahead is tough and I'm so close to giving up, but I fall into your arms and you carry me. You watch over me every step I take, every breath I make. I believe you watch over me every step I take, every breath I make. I believe, I believe, I believe, I believe. Oh, I give all I am to you, and I trust you'll see me through. Deep down I know you've loved me from the start, and if all the world around me was to fall apart, I'd always have you, the king of my heart. You made all the flowers grow. You're the footprints in the snow when my strength has gone. You are the melody of every glorious song. You watch over me every step I take, every breath I make. I believe you watch over me every step I take, every breath I make. I believe, I believe, I believe, I believe. Oh, I give all I am to you, and I trust you'll see me through. Deep down I know you loved me from the start. When I was lost, you found me, wrapped your loving arms around me. Deep down I know, yes, deep down I know you're king of my heart, king of my heart. Blessed be your name in the land that is plentiful, with streams of abundance flow. Blessed be your name. Blessed be your name when I'm found in the desert place. Though I walk through the wilderness, blessed be your name. Every blessing you pour out, I'll turn back to praise. When the darkness closes in, Lord, still I will say, blessed be the name of the Lord. Blessed be your name. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Blessed be your glorious name. Blessed be your name when the sun's shining down on me, when the world's all as it should be. Blessed be your name. Blessed be your name on the road marked with suffering. Though there's pain in the offering, blessed be your name. every blessing you pour out, I'll turn back to praise. When the darkness closes in, Lord, still I will say, blessed be the name of the Lord, blessed be your name. Blessed be the name of the Lord, blessed be your glorious name. You give and take away, you give and take away. My heart will choose to say, Lord, blessed be your name. You give and take away, give and take away. My heart will choose to say, Lord, blessed be your name. Blessed be the name of the Lord, blessed be your name. Blessed be the name of the Lord, blessed be your glorious name. Blessed be the name of the Lord, blessed be your name. Blessed be the name of the Lord, blessed be your glorious name. Blessed be the name of the Lord, blessed be your name. Blessed be the name of the Lord, blessed be your glorious name. Praise my soul, the King of heaven. To his feet thy tribute bring. Ransomed, healed, restored, forgiven. Who like thee his praises sing? Praise him, praise him. Hallelujah. It's 8 o'clock on a Sunday, and the crowd shuffles in. There's an old man, he's sitting next to me, making love to his tonic and gin. He says, son, can you play me in memory? I'm not really sure how it goes. he's quick with a joke. Why, he'll light up his smoke. But there's some place that he'd rather be. He said, John, I believe this is killing me. As a smile ran away from his face. And I know I could be a big movie star if I could get out of this place. La la la, la la la. Crowd for a Sunday, and the manager with her hair
You're just jealous.
and her earrings, she gives me a smile. How are you doing, Susan Veira?
I'm doing very well, thank you. I'm glad to say that normal service has been resumed. Well, when I say normal, I don't put Jonathan and normal in the same sentence, but normal service has been resumed.
And you're feeling, how's your bronchitis?
It's getting better, thank you.
Yes, I think that's
it's a
what
bit
we
fuzzy
say,
down
isn't it?
there, but it's all right.
And
it's all right.
well, it's just good that you acknowledge that it's me they've been coming to see.
Well, a few of them
Does
turned
it
up to see
get
me
them
last
out
week.
of life for a while? Did I cut you off? Sorry. Oh, and the piano it sounds like a carnival, and the microphone smells like a beer, and they're sitting in the bar and the bread in my jar. I say, man, what are you doing here? La la la, la la la, la la la. Welcome you once more.
We do.
To another.
We do. Welcome. Lots of people from Worthing tonight.
Would you mind?
I
I
just
am
got the
trying
bit
to do
between my
the
teeth.
welcome speech. When I want you to speak, I will write to you. All right?
Excuse me, I managed all right without you last week. I think I'll have another go this week.
Right, I'm taking this off. I'm leaving. And I'm
No,
leaving.
don't.
Oh, Sue, why don't you sit and play the piano?
Okay.
Oh, hold on. You can't. That's
can't.
right. And so, what were you going to say about?
I was going to say welcome, all those lovely people from Worthing. We were in Worthing last night.
We were indeed.
Doing another show.
In
and
Offington.
It was great, Offington Park.
I didn't even know Offington was a place. I'll be honest with you.
Have
It
you
sounded
met?
like the ends of a kind of a. It sounded like near Crewe. It sounded like where you put the trains at the end of the
I
night.
don't think it did.
Are you getting Offington? You know, it does sound that way, doesn't it? And yet, can I say Offington, and specifically to Dawn, who put it on. What a lovely lady she was, and
a great evening.
it was a great evening. The church was nearly full.
Lovely.
It was great to see people. All those people sitting there. A few turned up with masks and felt a little bit dangerous when they walked in, and then they took them off.
They relaxed.
And
It
they
was a
relaxed.
happy time.
And we'll probably hear of 47 infections next week.
No,
we won't.
No.
People were very engaged, and I was very happy to be there, doing our second show of the year, and it's great because we've got a whole lot coming up. We're going to just put those up for you again. We put them up last week, and we've got a lot of live shows coming up, and they were really live because the first 5 minutes
It wasn't working yet again.
Yes, but we got there.
And those of you who came to my Christmas show, you remember we had this thing set up. It was like a show, had the lights all ready, and Sue going, "Welcome, Mr. Jonathan Veira." Nothing.
Well, there was Jonathan Veira, but there was no track.
No track.
That was the point, no track.
Anyway, we also welcome here today the tech team in the form of Rachel. So here she is.
Hello.
She is.
Right, there she is. Go on, stick your face in there. There it is.
Hello.
Over.
Right, and that's it. Look, she's got a hoodie on.
And people could tell that Rachel was here because
Oh, she's coming now.
the
Sit
camera,
down.
the camera angles
Hello.
were different. So Rachel's been here since
Right.
Thursday, is that right?
Yeah, Thursday.
And we've had a lovely time with her, and she's had a lovely time sorting out the
So,
Steinway
give us
Room.
the camera angle, Sue. Off you go.
Oh, no.
No, just press the buttons. Press the buttons. For
I'll
goodness
press
sake,
the
if we're going to
cell
have all
phone
this
first of all.
tech.
Okay.
Right.
Right.
Right. Have you got any angles at all? None. You're totally and completely.
Put it on.
There we go. There's my
That's
fingers.
just done.
So you just watch me play the beginning of. All that. Can't play. Do you know what? She's so totally useless. I cannot, honestly, I'm seriously thinking of doing that with my foot from now on. Do you know what? Anyway, welcome, Rachel. Go
Thank
sit
you.
back down. Oh, Rachel's made this. Now, how are you going to, now, look at that. Look, there's a
Okay.
piano
A little
out of 150
Steinway.
pieces.
Put it onto the if I can find it.
No, you can't. So, we've got, put it onto the piano. There we go.
There we go. Down a bit.
Down
That's
a bit.
it. A little
That's
Steinway
the
for our
Steinway piano.
And
Right.
it is tiny.
I don't like it anymore.
No, it was. I think it was slightly smaller
Right,
than she
that'll
was
do.
expecting.
Yes, and 150 pieces. And now people
Sue's
have
playing it, though.
tuned in to a music show. So could you both be quiet and let me do a music show? Now go and sit down.
All right, then.
Right, off
Bye-bye.
you go. And here is, watch out. Now, watch out. Remember the Steinway Room is massive. It's a room 35 by 42 feet. And people often ask if when they come to the house, they can have a tour of the Steinway Room. I always say if you've got 10 seconds available, then yes, you can.
That long.
Anyway, we've got a song here, and I'm going to do it because it's one of those that John asked for. I don't know quite why John asked for this one, but I think he loves this song, and I haven't sung it for a few weeks, and I actually fancy singing this one. It's one of my favourite from the lockdown sessions. The ones that you, the community, funded. 1, 2, and 3. We sung so many songs from it last night, and I didn't sing this one. And it's for those who've lost people. And this one, but it's a beautiful song about loss. Suddenly, sometimes sad songs are the ones that it's songs in the minor keys, as Billy Joel once wrote, are the ones that people don't like, but I love them. And it goes like this. The falling leaves drip by my window. The falling leaves are red and gold. I see your lips, the summer kisses, the sunburned hand I used to hold. Since you went away, tears roll on.
and soon I hear old winter song, and I miss you most of all, my darling, you. When autumn leaves start to fall, since you went away, the tales grow long, and soon I'll hear old winter song, but I miss you most of all, my darling, you. When autumn leaves start to fall, and I miss you most of all. When autumn leaves start to fall.
Well, Rachel's earning her money tonight as well as Jonathan. I don't know about this. It's all very exciting. A lot of people enjoyed that.
John
really
Bell.
enjoyed that. Yeah, really enjoyed that.
And John and we just send out community love to people. And one of the things, welcome to those people who are in Worthing who decided not to watch Abduction of the Midwife.
She's finished.
Is it?
Yeah, she finished a long time ago.
Lord for that. I didn't know that. I didn't know it finished. So what happened?
Oh, it was all very exciting.
Did they have babies?
Apparently.
I mean, because apparently there were babies. Were there babies involved? Because I don't know about this. You know, with Search for the Midwife, would you not cough in the... You didn't cough all the way through?
I saved myself. Whilst you were singing, I saved myself.
Let's hear one. Let's have bronchial cough.
No, I'm bored of coughing now.
And so last night was one of those, again, returning to the theme of community. And I think that's what we love most of all, is getting out there and finding a new community. People who came along. There was a lovely lady, she sat in the front row and she said, "So where are you from? You're not English, are you?" So I had to do my
story.
Then I did a story. Then I thought, well, I can't have that. And I love Worthing and Goring. And we often go to the beach there and take our grandchild there, and we
Just
sit by the
grandchild.
beach.
Just pick up a grandchild.
But there's an ice cream shop down there.
It's a very nice ice cream shop down there.
But I could do with a 99 with a flake right now, you know, one of those.
Not
That'd
good.
be really nice. Now, here's a bit of news. This is the 6th of March, which means it's the first Sunday in spring.
Yay!
All I
Hence
can
my
say is
lovely
it's about
daffodils.
flipping time.
My lovely daffodils that Rachel brought with her. A little bit of spring.
And
And
that's
also,
very nice, actually.
also the 6th of March means that it's our granddaughter's birthday, Poppy's birthday today.
Yeah, actually
She's
it was.
5 today.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Bobby. Happy birthday to you. I don't know why I go all operatic when
And
I
I
do that.
have to say that, well, I don't know how many times everyone sang happy birthday, because every time a cake appeared, we had to sing happy birthday, because yesterday it was Andy, Grandad Andy's birthday. So
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Andy. Andy and Jill Hatvarney, part of the community. I don't even know if they're home yet.
Yes, they are.
Are they?
Yes.
Oh, hello. Happy
Took
birthday.
them an hour.
Mum. Did it?
Not 2.
Happy birthday to you. Right, anybody else's birthday, is it?
They probably are, but not for this section.
Oh, well, I'm singing them. Just get them out of the way.
No, I can't
Who
think
else
of
is there?
anything. No, I can't think of anything else.
Who else was there? I know there was somebody else. Anyway, in celebration of this, I thought, and in celebration of a guy, a 16-year-old boy, who just gives me hope for the future. Callum, if you're out there, boy.
Hello, Callum.
Hello, Callum, my boy. You did very well. You sent me a message, and I hope that reply was accurate. You will be used again in the future. He helped with the techie. He wants to become a techie. He doesn't want to go to university. He wants to get in and do the job. That's the kind of guy I like. That's the path that Rachel took before she went into the theatre, and she's doing it now 10 years. And of course, you learn everything about the job when you're doing it. And he was brilliant last night, helping us set up, lifting all the gear, setting it up, knew about stuff, and is learning as he goes.
And learnt lots from our Rachel, of course.
From Rachel, who screamed and shouted at him all night. And fine boss you'll make. And so thank you, Callum, for doing it. And the days brought him, Lou and Peter brought him. They live in now Littlehampton, which is a hop and a skip away. And they said, could you do something by the Beatles? And I seem to remember we did this once before, and it was I was pretty ropey then. Let's see. Here comes the sun, do-do-do-do. Here comes the sun, and I say, it's all right. Little darling, it's been a long, cold, lonely winter. So true. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun, do-do-do-do. Here comes the sun, and I say, it's all right. Little darling, the smiles are turning to the faces. Little darling, it feels like years since it's been here. Sing it with love. Here comes the sun, do-do-do-do. Here comes the sun, and I say, it's all right. Sun, 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 here it comes. Sun, 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 here it comes. One more time. Sing it with me. Sun, 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 here it comes. Sun, 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 here it comes. Little darling, I feel that ice is slowly melting. Ah, yes. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been clear. Here comes the sun, do-do-do-do. Here comes the sun, and I say, it's all right. It's all right. It's all right. That'll do, because the man here, he fell off, fortunately, off the piano stool.
That was
okay?
me. That's me. Sitting
That
on the
you?
piano stool. Yeah, my little figure.
Could you please not mess around every time he falls off? I will get a hammer. It's the best thing for that. Hammer, smash down in 150 pieces. Now, there is another song here, and this is for the lovely Sylvia Newman. Now, I haven't sung this one, Sylvia, for, I can't remember now, it must be a year and a half.
We've gone very weather-related, haven't we?
We have got, because it's been such depressing weather, and it's been cold and nasty. It was 5 degrees yesterday. It was cold. I was with my coat, and my coat's all ripped now. I think this is the end of this coat.
No, it'll last a bit.
No,
longer.
Sue, I got it from Debenhams. I just tell you what's happened to Debenhams.
Debenhams is gone.
Like Woolworths, Debenhams. Who else is gone?
Lots, unfortunately.
C&A's. I am man at C&A's. That's basically it,
Yeah,
right?
true.
Cheap, nasty. That's me. Unlike, and I have to say, completely unlike Sylvia Newman, who is one of the most elegant women
She is.
you could ever hope to meet. And she is. She's truly elegant. My accent does polish up whenever I'm with her. Have you noticed that? I always say, hello, Sylvia, how are you? I do, and I don't know why I do that. where was I? I was at a hotel. We went out for the first time I went out to a friend of mine. I said this last night in the show, and we went out to a 5-star. It's 5-star. I think it is Tilney Hall, which
Very
is
posh sort of
very
manor house
posh manor
hotel.
house. And he invited me out. It's the guy. Remember the guy who was the
Coroner.
judge, the coroner, and he came in and he said, "Jonathan, I'd like to take you out for afternoon tea." So I had to find. Here's the thing. I had to find clothes that fitted me.
That was smart.
He's
He's got clothes that fit him, but they're all jogging bottoms. and
Yeah,
all
I
the
mean,
rest
it's
of it.
ridiculous because with all these meds I'm on now, I have put on so much weight. And discouragingly, there was a lovely lady who she said to me yesterday she'd had a transplant, kidney transplant and a pancreas transplant, and she just looked at me. She said she's a nurse, and she said, "Trouble is," she said, "ever since I've had it," she said, "it's just been this. I put a lot of weight on down the tummy, and it doesn't go because, of course, it's right
Kidneys
here.
in the way.
It's right here, and it's pointing to France, as I say when I'm on the coast, it's pretty awful. So clothes are an issue. So I don't know, I don't think I should embarrass him, but it's too bad. He offered to actually say, he said, "Jonathan," he said, "I know a man who can make a suit for you. So I'm going to wait for this, and I will wear it online. Once I got it, I will sit here in my 3-piece suit.
You can see how smart he will be.
All right, and see how smart. I've yet to get, and I'd like to canvass opinion right now, what I should wear, what colour.
What colour
what
the
colour
suit
cloth,
should
what
be.
type of cloth material. So if you want to write in and say plaid or yellow or bright red with polka dots, then it's going to be a 3-piece suit and a dress suit. When I say dress, I'm not wearing a dress. I don't
Pinstripes
care
are
what
very slimming, aren't they?
Pinstripes. Can you imagine being in a pinstripe suit? I don't want to look as though I'm about to go to a funeral. Do you understand? Because I've got to be doing other things as well. So, but that suit will be, and then I've got to have one that you can take the darts in for when I do lose this weight eventually.
Hopefully you will.
Anyway, stormy weather. That she required, and I don't know what we're going to see whether I can sing it, and it goes like this. Don't know why there's no sun up in the sky. Stormy weather since my man and I ain't together. Keeps raining all the time. Oh yeah, life is bad. Gloom and misery everywhere. Stormy weather. Oh, I just can't get my poor self together. I'm weary all of the time. I'm weary all of the time. Since you went away, the blues walked in and met me. Oh yeah, if he stays away, old rocking chair's gonna get me. All I do is pray
Everything I have is gone. Stormy weather since my man and my daddy ain't together. It keeps raining, raining all of the time. Don't know why there's no sun up in the sky. Stormy weather since my man and we ain't together. It keeps raining, raining all of the time. It keeps raining all of the time. Oh, since you went away, the blues walked in and met me. Yeah, if he stays away, old rocking chair's gonna get me. All I do is pray the Lord will let me walk in the sun just once more. I can't go on. Everything I have is gone. Stormy weather since my man and we ain't together. It keeps raining. Oh, it keeps raining. Oh, it keeps raining. Raining all of the time. Stormy weather.
Well,
Well,
they enjoyed
what's
that.
Well,
They enjoyed that.
Well,
They enjoyed it
what do
very
you mean
much.
well?
They enjoyed it very much.
Let me-
Sylvia said thank you very much. She was enjoying it very much.
Was she? I hope you did.
And the well is about all the suggestions for the suit. You started a little thing
Right,
here.
let's hear it then.
Okay,
Read them out.
so we've had some good suggestions.
Are you joking?
Lots of
Let's have a list.
No, just-
Right, okay.
light blue, dark blue,
Yeah.
navy blue,
That's very boring. Go on next.
purple.
Purple. Stop a minute. Let's just stop on purple, shall we, a moment?
I think.
Why?
I
No,
think
stop.
red. I think.
Who would come up with purple? Why would you say purple? Look at me. What would I do with a purple
I think
thingy?
that was Biddy Mutter. Just a chop you, Biddy.
What are you thinking of? Right, go on next.
Yes, sort of various reds, whites, and blues suggestions.
Red, white, blue, what, all together?
Yes.
You mean like a Union Jack? That would be very
A
appropriate.
nice green from Joanne Newson. A blue lighter than navy. So navy and sort of lighter than navy is sort of quite top of the pops at the moment. But Karen suggested a Nehru collar. You know,
A who?
sort of the Nehru collar. You know, the sort of the sort of
What is a Nehru collar?
You know, the sort of the collar that you like. In
Oh, you mean
shirts.
that right?
Yes.
In shirts?
Yes, but
What,
in a
underneath
suit.
it?
You can get the suit made with a. You've had a jacket with one of those collars in the past, the black one.
Oh, that's like a Chinese collar. The Chinese,
Yeah.
they do the
Yeah.
that you had from
Yeah.
Haiku.
Yeah. Anyway. Keep them coming,
coming,
guys,
mate.
because we've
Keep
got some
coming,
great
because I'm
suggestions.
interested.
And
Oh,
any
what with a
ideas
part-
for the fabric and so on? Oh, chocolate brown or an Air Force blue?
Air
Look
Force Blue.
extremely smart.
I suppose Air Force Blue is quite. I mean, is it quite? Yes, it's smart. Is it kind of stand out though?
Darling, I think you stand out anyway without the suit.
And what do you mean by that?
Well, I
That's
think
a very
probably
racial comment,
you
Sue.
know. I mean,
You are such
your
a racist.
personality
Can I
goes
just say
before
that?
you.
That my wife is terribly racist. She
Oh,
is.
Sylvia suggests black with a blue lining. Oh, yes, of course. We're getting onto the lining
Now
as
we're
well
talking.
now.
Okay.
Woohoo! Fantastic.
Sorry. So I think actually. Oh, I tell you what. At some point, I'm gonna have to get my meds because I haven't got my meds.
Oh, okay. Well, during a video or
So
something, you
yeah,
can do
during the
that.
video. And why don't we have a video now? Right now, let's go for. I think it was
This one is for Helen Thomas.
And it's-
She asked for it, but I'm afraid it's not in the voice this evening, but you get it
After
anyway.
yesterday, it's too much. But here it is anyway, for you, okay?
God on high, hear my prayer, hear my need. You have always been Bring him home, bring him home. Bring him home. He's like the son I might have known if God had granted me a son. The summers die one by one, how soon they fly. On and on, and I am old and will be gone. Bring him peace, bring him joy. He's young, he's only a boy. You can take, you can give. Let him be. Let him be. If I die, let me die. Let him live. Bring him home.
So yes, Helen, that's for you. Also, for many of you, I know you love that song, and it conjures up a lot of happiness and a lot of poignancy. Particularly for Carol, for you both, your son is coming home from India. You haven't seen him for over 2 years, so yes, bring him home. He'll be home very soon. So
Can I also
very touching.
I have no idea whether they're listening. There was a couple last night I met, and I'm not going to reveal too much. Just suffice it to say, we spoke, and they have a particular situation in their own lives, which is very difficult. And bringing him home meant an awful lot to them. I said to them if they want to talk to me, and I say it again, if you're listening to it tonight, please do write to me, and we can talk about that. We will be talking very soon about addiction. We're having my brother-in-law on. He's called himself the Sober Anglican, and it's going to be quite controversial for some of you, I know, but as you know, I never steer away from controversy. We want different opinions on this show.
He's got a great story to tell,
great story
and
to tell.
It will be fantastic to
So we'll have him
listen
on,
to him.
and Martin is his name, and married to my sister Ruth, who was there for the first time in the show for many months, and that was great to have her back, Ruth and Martin. Also, I just have to say, did you see what I mean about that I could wear a shirt. I was very much smaller, and
it'll happen again, love. It'll happen again.
So I think actually that all of you who, and I know quite a lot of you, struggle with weight. You know, I do understand, and how it yo-yos. So just like that one. And this one, somebody requested this one. Who was it? Victoria Moyes, I think.
Yeah, she suggested it. Good idea, Victoria.
So
and I hope the ends are sewing in nicely.
Yeah.
She's sewing in the ends tonight.
Oh, well, that's good. Sewing in the ends.
It's a horrible job. It's a horrible job.
It's a horrible job.
Yeah.
And I always found sewing in the ends was a horrible job. What are you talking about? That's what this was from Hymns Project 2, and the album was called Praise My Soul. It's a fabulous album. And this one is the title track, and it's called Praise My Soul, the King of Heaven. A new tune to an old set of lyrics. I hope I can sing it quite high.
Praise my soul, the King of Heaven. To his feet thy tribute bring. Ransomed, healed, restored, forgiven. Who like thee his praises ring? Praise him, praise him. Hallelujah, praise the everlasting King. Praise him, hallelujah, praise the everlasting King. Praise him for grace and favor to our fathers in distress. Praise him still the same as ever, slow to chide and swift to bless. Praise him, hallelujah. Glorious in his faithfulness. Praise him, hallelujah. Glorious in his faithfulness. Father, light, tender spaces, well I feel afraid, he knows In his hands he gently bears us, rescues us from all our foes. Praise him, praise him, hallelujah, widely as his mercy flows. Praise him, hallelujah, widely as his mercy flows. Angels help us to adore. We behold him face to face. Sun and moon bow down before. Dwellers all in time and space. Praise him, hallelujah. Praise with us the God of grace. Praise him, hallelujah. Praise with us the God of grace. Praise him, hallelujah, widely as his mercy flows. Praise him, hallelujah, widely as his mercy flows. Praise him, hallelujah. That's for Vicky. I'm going to sit down again. Excellent. I hope you enjoyed that one. Very different.
It's a great version, actually. It's a really good version. People were really enjoying it. Oh, hang on a minute. I'll put my camera on. Ooh. Yes,
Say
here
again.
I am. Yeah, so I think people were really enjoying it, actually. Really sort of just enjoying the slightly different tune. And again, as we've said before, sometimes the different tune initially might feel a bit odd, but it really brings the words to life because you're hearing them in a slightly different way. And I was reminded the other day on Facebook that almost 2 years ago, your album, That Hymns Project 2,
Came out
arrived.
literally just before.
And then a couple of weeks later, lockdown happened. So it was rubbish timing.
So
But
it
it's
kind
got
of
some
sat
great
there.
tracks on it. It's got some great. We
Fabulous.
must try and get some of them into the show
we'll
because
do it.
there
We
really
will.
are some really nice. So maybe one week we'll do a sort of HP2 bit.
HP2 thing, because actually one of the things our thing was about not losing hymns.
Yes.
And not losing the words. And a lot of you, you sing a lot of the modern songs, and a lot of the songs, they're churned out. They are churned out. I happen to know they're churned out. Some of them are really inspired, and some of them really are not. Now, that is true of Wesley hymns.
As well.
God forbid I should say that. But bearing in mind...
How many did he write?
He wrote 8,760, and we sing about 5 or 6 of them now. So, of course, things go. And actually, he was the first one to say, what happens in a church is you sing songs of what are called current testimony. So, you sing a song that you've written and he wrote, which was real for him. He went through some difficult times, and often the hymns come out of that. And they're sung for a few years and then they're discarded. Graham Kendrick, as you know, he was on this show, he's a friend of mine, and he wrote some wonderful songs. Some of them have stayed, some of them haven't. It's the way it works, even with prolific songwriters. So the more you write, the more will be sung in the future. And I think actually it's really important to say also that just because a song wasn't written 2 minutes ago, and I say this to record companies, just because a song wasn't written 2 minutes ago doesn't mean that you don't sing the song anymore. It's what my children call old school. Old school means anything written about half an hour ago, and so that's the current church, but that's not actually. We also bear in mind that we sing psalms even today, and they were written thousands of years ago. And the reason we do is because they are good words. They reflect an experience, and we can put new tunes to them. I know Michael Cooper, who I'm going to sing a song for now. Now, Michael has had his own real share of adversity. His own cancer that was diagnosed a few years ago, he said he didn't expect to reach his 75th birthday, and here he is as a musician himself, and he's written some lovely songs, and they come out of that, and we do that. Wasn't there a dedication from his children, Sue?
Yeah, I'm just looking it up, so keep going.
So, Michael, you've been watching almost from the beginning of this 2 years, 87 shows, I think it is today, and 87. There's something like 87 shows. And not all 2 hours, but from around about a month in, it was about 2 hours. And you can go back on nearly all of them. Some of them were terrible, and I have to confess to that. We didn't have the tech, we didn't have anything. I wasn't very good, and I wasn't very well, if you remember that. I was heading towards a transplant. And for those of you who don't know, I've had a transplant, and Sue's given me one of her kidneys. And so, now it's starting to feel part of me. And certainly I feel it every morning right in front of me.
You're looking so much better and you're feeling so much better.
I'm feeling
the
a lot
benefit
better.
is being
But we're
felt.
still tired, and we are still tired of getting used to living like this. However, Michael, Sue,
I was just going to say, before you go any further, we will do Michael in a second.
What?
Could you say hello to Fox?
It's Fox watching!
Rowena and Fox are watching, and apparently Fox is on the emojis, so we want lots of emojis from Fox.
Loads of emojis, please. Fox, you are a brilliant boy, and I love you lots. I love playing. You know what I love most of all doing to Fox? Now, Fox is the son of some great friends of ours in the Isle of Wight. One of the kindest couples that you could find, and I mean that with all my heart. We love these people. She's a fantastic filmmaker, just been nominated for some major awards. And so proud of what she always achieves, and also what she is as a human being. She is a humanitarian, and I love that about her. I go and she's helped me over years and years and years, and helped us and become a close friend. And I love Rowena and Oz, her husband, and Fox is her son, and he loves being tickled. And whenever I'm there, I just have, that's all I have to do is tickle him.
Just leaps on you,
and
doesn't
he leaps on me. And
it's a lovely boy.
And Fox, you're a great kid, and I hope you're enjoying it. Now this one, it's another beautiful old religious song from about 1964.
Michael, your birthday is on Tuesday. You're going to be 75, and your lovely children wrote in and said, would we do something for you? So this is from Jonathan, Maria and Benjamin and all their family. They love you so much, and happy birthday for Tuesday. And I know that you also wrote and asked for something, but they had written already before then. So this is from them to you.
A double whammy.
Indeed.
And this one is by a multi-million seller band called the Gaithers in America, and they do harmony singing. And this was written by Bill Gaither, who's now in his 80s, and it was written in about 1965, something like that. And it's called A Sinner Saved by Grace. And it's just some people don't like this idea, but it's an old song, but I quite like the thought behind it, and it goes like this. If you could see what I once was, if you could go with me back to where I started from, and I know you would see the miracle of love that took me in its sweet embrace and made me what I am today. Just an old sinner saved by
breath of life I take, loved and forgiven, back with the living. I'm just a sinner saved by grace. How could I boast of anything I've ever seen or done? How could I dare to claim as mine the victories God has won? Where would I be had God not brought me safely to this place? I'm here to say I'm nothing but a sinner saved by grace. I'm just a sinner saved by grace. When I stood condemned to death, He took my place. Now I live and breathe in freedom. With each breath of life I take, loved and forgiven, back with the living. I'm just a sinner saved by grace. Saved by grace. And that, Michael, that was for you. You asked for that one, so I made sure
Yes.
I learnt it. And
did.
now, just before we talk to Pam Rhodes, who's waiting on the thing for us right now, we're going to have a little video, and it's called Just Around
It will be in a
the
second.
Bend. Been a long time traveling down this hard and rocky road. We're all just trying to survive, walking together and sharing the load, doing all we can to stay alive. I believe the journey's nearly over. I believe these troubled times will end. I believe we'll find a better place just around the bend. We may be weary, and sometimes we just don't know how we can keep on keeping on. Take one day at a time and trust that history will show. When we're united, we are strong. I believe the journey's nearly over. I believe these troubled times will end. I believe we'll find a better place just around the bend. other, for we all need the hope that heals, the love that mends. Even when the darkness is as far as we can see, the sun will shine again somewhere just around the bend. So take care of each other, for we all need the hope that heals, the love that mends. Even when the darkness is as far as we can see, the sun will shine again, I believe, just around the bend. Just around the bend. I believe the journey's nearly over. I believe the journey's nearly over. I believe these troubled times will end. I believe these troubled times will end. I believe we'll find a better place just around the bend. I believe we'll find a better place just around the bend. Just around the bend.
Well, just around the bend, and what a great song that is from Paul Field and myself, and that's a really encouraging. And I think it's just something we need to see right at the moment with everything that's going on. We don't ignore it on this show. You know, we know that things are tough for people, and we really do understand with Russia, with money, with things that are tight for you out there, and we are constantly asking you to, you know, do things for others. And the JV, You've Got a Friend Trust. Remember that exists for you to help others who are not as well off as you. And they've been helping to the tune of thousands and thousands of pounds, and putting arms around people who need it right now and who are going to need it. We see the tsunami, as we sort of talked to Cap the other day. The tsunami of need will be increasing exponentially. So anything we can do to help, and remember that, contact us. Just to say, before we speak to our special guest again tonight, Sue, a few...
Yes, I've been saying hello to you as we've been going along, but Patsy, you're the latest from Worthing to sign in. So for Patsy, and I think Charlotte and several other people that I can't now find on the feed, but you're very welcome. I'm so delighted that you have signed in, having seen us last night, seen Jonathan in particular.
And we really encourage you to tune in on the nights that we come. Now, we will give you a list next week. I don't think we're on next week. Are we on next week?
I cannot remember.
Right, can't remember. We will let you know because of course, when we're on tour, we can't do this sometimes, but we can.
But if we can.
We can. And so we will let you know. Stand by. You become a friend of ours, and we will give you an alert that tells you, definitely, I will go on live in the week to say that. Now, we have, once again, the most delightful lady. She is what she says on the tin. She is a great friend over many, many years. So much about Pam that you find out every time I speak to you, I find out something else about you, Pam Rhodes. You are quite a woman of many parts and many limbs. It feels like you've got 3 arms and 3 legs. What is it about you, woman? How are you?
I don't know. It's really, really good to see you, and to actually just be connected this way, especially in view of all you've been through. Some pretty tough times. You just bounce back, rubber ball.
Well, I think actually
my
thing, Pam, and we bless you for your continued, and I will never forget you writing to me in the hospital time and time again, asking me how I was. When the kidney had rejected, you were one of the few people that just wrote and said, we're thinking of you. how are you doing today? That just a one-line text. And it taught me a lot. And it actually, I do the same for people now who are in similar situations. And you showed me the way, Pam, like so many people out there in the community.
The trouble is that it is really, really difficult for anyone in the situation of caring about someone who's desperately ill, because you feel so helpless, don't you? You really want to help, but there's nothing you can do. I always say to people, take care of the carer, actually, because I think that's very hard. When you get husbands and wives and one of them is ill, all the attention is on the one that's ill, and actually the other one needs support too, because actually they want so much to help, and it's very difficult to know what to do.
It is actually, and Sue, and what Sue found, and of course but both
ill
of us
herself.
needed caring for, because she just had a major operation.
Yes,
I'd had a major operation, and we had, what was lovely, Pam, was that we had a lady called Sally Newman who came in and looked after us. And my sister and her husband, they came across, and she's not well, she had rheumatoid arthritis, but they came in and they cooked things for us in those first 2 weeks. But Sally particularly, she lived in with Sue while I was still in hospital, and was able to care for her because she needed caring for. And it's very complicated. Care is a complicated thing, and it's going to become, I suspect, a bigger and bigger social issue as we age, as our aging population grows. Don't you think it's going to be
but what an amazing thing for you two to go through as a couple, because we might promise to love each other through sickness and in health, but no one would ever imagine that they'd be faced with a situation that you two faced. And I think it was incredibly brave, but probably the most loving thing I've ever heard. And of course you came through it. How could you fail to, with such love?
Well, do you know what? There are moments I didn't think I would, but
sure.
I think with Sue's kindness and gentleness, and with her unquestioning, of course
love.
I'll do it. Yeah,
Love.
It was, and I think actually that I was completely dumbfounded by it, genuinely, and still am. And it's one of those things where she's now, I literally cannot insult her anymore.
Yes.
It's terrible,
So you get your chance now, Sue, do you? Slightly
I
upper hand.
do, which is fantastic. I get my chance, and the jokes are never ending, Pam. That's what I love about it.
Well, you've got a few up your sleeve too, I'm sure.
Yes.
Yes, what she said last night, we were out doing our second show of the year. We've got a whole 18, 20, plus probably 30 this year now. And she said, she stood up to do the sell of the books and the CDs, and she said, "Isn't my kidney sounding good?" And that's it. That's her line now. So that's the line. Anyway,
That is a
Pam,
claim to fame. Yes.
we got you in to talk about you. As a matter of fact, you've done so much, and you're a woman of many parts, broadcaster for many years of Songs of Praise and so many other programs. You're now a regular broadcaster on our Premier Radio. You do Hearts. What
Hearts and Hymns.
Programs?
Hearts and Hymns in the morning. So a themed program at 8 o'clock, and a request program between 9 and 10. And that's such a lovely program every week, because people write in asking for hymns and worship songs that are very dear to them, but often they're ones that have date back for ages, that are from when I was confirmed, or our wedding 62 years ago. It really is lovely, and often they set me quite a challenge to dig things out that and sometimes you might be able to get a recording, but you realize how recording has got so much better over the years.
And you dare not put that recording on, do you? No, you dare not.
Trevor, who works with me as well, and I, we think, oh, dare we put this out? Will anybody listen to it? But it's amazing. People love to hear these old favourites. I mean, they mark our lives, don't they? Some of the hymns that we've sung, the worship songs that are dear to us at the time. And also, I think probably during the 50s and 60s, there were a lot more songs on the radio that were blatantly Christian, especially from America. I mean, we had like the Holy City here and Bless This House, but in America they had like Deck of Cards, and I mean, Elvis Presley recorded something like 50 gospel tracks. Did I tell you that for Songs of Praise some years ago, they sent me to spend a week with Pat Boone? Do you remember Pat Boone?
I do remember. My goodness, yes. Now there's a name from the past.
Yes.
Now, what was he famous for?
Love Letters Straight from Your Heart.
Love Letters Straight
And
from Your
so
Heart,
many
yes.
others. I mean, he was only about 22 when he'd had 4 #1 hits, but he'd also was married and had a couple of children, a couple of daughters by then. He was quite something. And I remember Pat Boone, who of course is a wonderful Christian himself. He said that he got to know Elvis quite well, and that happened because in Cleveland, Ohio, one snowy night, he was topping the chart, having been at the top of the pop charts already, and topping the evening. And there was a new supporting act that went on just before him, and it was Elvis Presley. And then,
one for the morning,
yeah.
2 for the show, 3 down and get go.
Well, Elvis did what Elvis did, and then Pat went on and went and sang in front of the mic like this, and he came off the stage and said to his manager, "I'm never going on after that man again."
No.
But it was the start of a great friendship, actually.
Pam, you know what? I would tell you that as a singer, somebody said, do you want so-and-so to come on? Absolutely not. They might be good. They might be might be good. And then they go, why are you on? Who's the supporting act and who's the main act?
Yeah.
So the main thing is, yes. But they started a real friendship.
Well, it was actually because Pat and his wife lived in Sunset Boulevard. In fact, they were still in the same house, and I interviewed him there. And he used to have afternoon gatherings where people came and sat around the swimming pool, and they actually baptized people in the swimming pool. They just had Christian gatherings. And Elvis came along to quite a lot of those because, of course, he came from that Southern American state, Christian background too. And they did become good friends through all of that. And actually, later on in the program, I went down to actually interview Pat Boone's mum and dad. And they were in their 90s then, and he was beaten. If he was, as a child, was naughty in church, they would take him to the back of the church, pull down his trousers, smack his bottom in front of everybody, and send him back. And I think Elvis had that same kind of very traditional Christian upbringing, but he drifted away, and we know that a lot of mistakes were made throughout his life. And Pat said that about a month before he died, quite by chance, he crossed paths with him at an airport, and Elvis sort of clung to him and said, "I've got to come and see you. I need to come. I really need to come and see you. I will do. I'll sort that out." And a month later, he was dead. So I think he knew that he needed his faith again. He needed to get back to those roots, but unfortunately not early enough.
Everything I heard about it was that drug and alcohol dependency, particularly drugs and food, and that thing that finally killed him. And it was you just think actually the cost of success at that level was so high.
Yes.
Was so high. And it's funny because you see in music, it's a very often unrewarding. You're not, when you're gone, you're gone. When you're in, you're the best. When you're not, you're not. And the press wants to eat you up quickly. And it wants to find, having put you there, it wants to then knock you down and make sure, the gossip mongers want to make sure that they find out the worst about you and humiliate you. And I looked at the story of Elvis and thought, what a terrible, sad story. But it was a kind of inevitability because he was so famous. He was beyond fame.
But it was interesting that there's one quite well-known occasion when he was performing in front of, a couple of thousand people, and somebody shouted out so that everyone could hear, "You are the king." And he said, "There is only one king, and that is Jesus Christ." So he never really lost it. And perhaps he knew his place and his weaknesses more than he ever let on. And obviously
I knew. And actually the whole thing about this thing about losing one's faith, I don't think he ever lost his faith. I think actually he just lost his way. That's a completely different thing.
Yeah, and we all do that at times.
Well,
we all do that.
And I think that's why when people kind of, have bad days, have bad months, have bad years, and have bad decades, we don't let them go, because I genuinely think God doesn't let them go. So who are we to let them go?
It's interesting you should say that, because yesterday I was at Westminster Central Hall. Every year, the first weekend in March, they have a springtime festival there. It's called Daffodil Day, and
Did it? I was the guest one year.
All over the country, Methodist ladies recognise Daffodil Day, and in their own churches will celebrate it. It's a lovely festival, but they come down from all points of the compass across the UK. I mean, usually we get about 2,000 in the audience in that huge, great arena, that beautiful building with its lovely acoustics. We perhaps had about 500 yesterday. And we also had a Methodist silver band, the only Methodist silver band, and we had, the musicians from Westminster Central Hall and the choir. And honestly, the feeling of being there, quite intimate in a way, but the sound was glorious. And I just thought, gosh, we've missed this. And, talking about challenging times that people have been through, it was that sense of worshipping together and singing together in fellowship that reminded us how difficult it's been not to have that fellowship in our churches, at least. But you will understand that I think we've found fellowship with each other and with God in a different way. And I mean, looking back to 2 years ago when lockdown began, I was very mindful of the fact that on Songs of Praise, all those years that I've been doing it, when you might remember this, there was a time when we didn't used to have the words on the screen for hymns, because the producers thought that people should look at the faces and actually, sort of catch the emotion. But if you didn't know the words they were singing, that was quite difficult. When they put the words up on screen, suddenly it was just so encouraging. People felt included, and it became the biggest karaoke in the world, really. Well, when that lockdown happened in sort of late March, I suggested to my boss at Premier Christian Radio that perhaps I could just do 10 minutes at lunchtime every day of sing-along hymns and worship songs, the ones without the hymn book. And if you don't, and you only know the la, 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 I don't think God minds, as long as it's a form of worship. And he said, well,
I never remember the words, Pam. I never remember any of the words.
Well, he said, couldn't you make it 6? In fact, couldn't you make it half an hour? In fact, couldn't you make it nearly an hour? And so ever since then, from Monday to Saturday, just after the 1 o'clock news on Premier, I've got everybody singing all over the country. And yesterday at that meeting, perhaps 20 ladies came up to me and said, I never miss singing along. And I just love that feeling of encouragement. I think that's what we've all needed, that sense that even if you're on your own, you're part of a huge choir and we're all doing the same thing at the same time.
Well, I think actually for you, Pam, particularly, you did these programs for years, and where Sunday nights were where people, for half an hour, they sung along. And the other thing they did was, when I was a child, it was Sunday night half hour on with Roger Royal.
Oh, lovely Roger. Yes,
Roger, who I knew
still
so
keep
well,
in touch with him. He's a bit frailer than he was, but he's still got that amazing. Well, he's well into his 80s. He'd never tell us, of course, but he's got that lovely cackling laugh, and he's still got that great sense of humour. I've never known anyone who could quip better than him.
No, he's very, very quick, isn't he? And but always a lovely man, always very gentle. And but I remember going home after an evening service, because we always had an evening service, and we'd listen to Sunday half hour and then your 100 best tunes.
Oh, lovely. Yeah.
Radio 2. And then when one year, it came, and I remember being on it, singing "How Great Thou Art." Exactly.
Your own very own song.
And that voice, now the voice of Jonathan Veira singing "How Great Thou Art." But I remember thinking, actually, singing along was a big thing, and you've done it for years, where you've had programs where you invite people effectively to sing along those hymns and reflect some of those truths from the past.
Yes, I mean, I think even the services that people have had from the churches, and the churches have really got their act together. I think we've discovered a different relationship with God through all of these broadcasts, through yours, through mine, through Songs of Praise, through what they hear from church. And that is because if you're in church and perhaps you're not doing so well, and something that's said just hits a raw nerve, I've often felt in church I want to bawl my eyes out, especially during the Eucharist. I can feel very emotional during the Eucharist, but you don't want to in public. Or when you're singing a wonderful hymn, you might want to stick your hands in the air and wave them around, but the lady who lives next door to you and is in the church beside you would never approve of that. And I just think it's given us a freedom to sit there in our gym jams and actually be what we are, with God and, what he knows
That's
we are.
very
He
interesting.
he
Okay.
held us in the palm of his hands. He knows what we are. We don't need to be dressed up and in church for him to know that.
Okay, but I'm just gonna be a little bit controversial here. I think what we've gained, but we've also lost.
Yes,
So
I agree.
It's estimated that between 25 and 40% of the church are not coming back. Certainly within the Anglican Church, in the Anglican Union. And so what's happened is people have got used to being on their own. And of course, church is about community. It's not just a community. And the community, what we've done is we are human beings. We are flexible. So we learn how to do this, what we've done. And we've got a Rachel who helps us to become technologically advanced and then can go out and do this program. And from my living room, lights, 5 cameras, all the technology. But I tell you what, going as you did yesterday, and as I did in that, well, you just reminded me when I was at Central Hall, I'd sung there, and I'd just done a new album of called Hymns Project 1, and it was including some new tunes to old words of things like "And Can It Be?" So Charles,
Oh, love
John
that
Wesley.
will not let me go.
Oh, love that will not let me go, as an example. And so I did this thing, and I sung it, and the 2000 bit, it was full. It was absolutely full. And at the end of it, And Can It Be? It's a big one. This one, And Can It Be? Is a huge song, this new version. And I finished it, and as we were walking out, people were buying the albums, and an old geezer, he was about 82, he was being pushed out in his wheelchair, and he shouted out, he was from Bristol, he shouted out, "I don't care about these new ones, I love the old tunes," as somebody shoved him back into the lift. I said, "Sorry." It was just to make me laugh. But the 2,000 people singing in there, and community, and last night, I had people singing "How Sweet It Is to Be Loved by You." All these people in this massive Methodist church in Worthing, they were singing this, waving their hands, enjoying being together in a building.
Yes.
I think we've learned that we can do both. That's what we found.
Absolutely.
I think you have an individual thing.
And that discussion about old and new hymns, I'm a complete anorak about hymns. I love hymns. I love the way the right piece of music can bring the words to life. I think think about Crimond and "The Lord's My Shepherd," Psalm 23. That's right. There'll be generations of people who can't imagine that "The Lord My Shepherd" would ever be to any other melody. Think of all the funeral services. And then, along comes Stuart Townend with a new version of "The Lord's My Shepherd," which has... which all age groups love. And I think you hear the words afresh. I think sometimes a new setting gives us a new opportunity to think about the words. So, I'm all for new melodies. And who knows, perhaps in years to come, it'll be your melodies that people will
Well, and I think that's part of
classics.
it. When we had discussions with people going, well, are you saying that this is better? No, I'm not saying it's better. I'm saying it's different. Because if you remember, and of course, because you had in a lot of the hymn books, you had the metrics. So you had 4-4-4-4 or 6-8-8, 6-8-8-6, that kind of thing, where it would be feet per line. And then you'd have all the alternative tunes along with it that you could put. And people sung to different tunes. Yeah. So Ebenezer or Aberystwyth or whatever it was that they would sing the tunes to. So it wasn't that there was one. It might have been one that dominated the tune, like "Love Divine" or "Love's Excelling." All right, that's him became the way of expressing it. But there were 2 other tunes to it, and so people don't know this. They think this was the only way it was written and accepted. So I think what we were trying to do was for a modern generation, "Praise My Soul, the King of Heaven." We wrote that one. Now, of course, that "Praise my soul, the King of Heaven, and to His feet thy tribute bring" is so dominant, and I thought, do you know what? I remember listening to Crocodile Dundee, and I love the fact they went dum ding dum dum dum. So Mark and I, we wrote it, and the melody, "Praise my soul, the King of Heaven, to His feet thy tribute bring, ransomed, healed, restored, forgiven, who like thee His praises sing." And so you're doing it within 6 notes, and then putting a chorus, praise Him, hallelujah. And people are now asking for it because actually it's different. That's all. It's different.
And
it's
easy to sing. Easy to sing.
Easy to sing.
Yeah, that's quite
so
a clue.
It's different, not better. Look, moving on. I want to talk to you about this. Another thing that you are I'm quite unbelievable, Pam. What is this thing about a cattery? What is wrong with you? I mean, could you just stop doing stuff?
Well, when Richard and I got married 19 years ago, I not only took on his 6 daughters, including then as well my son and daughter. He's got 6 daughters, and the youngest was only about 4 when I came in and sort of became mum. Really, I think all of them have lived with us at some point over those years, and of course now they've grown up and we have a new generation. So I'm Nanny Pammy to many.
Yeah, Nanny Pammy.
And I've never had a role I've enjoyed more, I can tell you. But I also took on the big old barn in our garden, which used to be a cattery. Richard said to me, I think I'll open the cattery up again. I said, oh, yeah, you might enjoy that. And it's like that old story of when you have soldiers all lined up in a row and they ask for a volunteer and all the others know to step back. And suddenly there I was volunteering for the cattery, of which I knew nothing. So I've done...
What, you didn't know, you weren't a cat person?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think we had 3 cats of our own, but I didn't want to run a cattery. I mean, I was a very busy working lady as well as having all this big family. Yeah. It very soon, I mean, it was mostly holiday makers, bringing their cats in the first stages, but I soon bumped into the RSPCA locally, and they were looking for somewhere to keep cats that were strays or needed help. Very often these cats, for example, are elderly and their owners have to go into care or need medical care, and they're ousted. They can't be at home anymore, and there are awful cruelty cases as well. So now, all these years on, it's still going strong. We have at least 7 RSPCA cats in all the time, often more than that. Wow. So, yeah, and, over Christmas and periods like that, we could have 40 cats in. I must admit, I don't do much of the work now. I haven't really got the time with all the programs that I do, 8 radio programs and the online television magazine programs, Sunday Night Live every week. But, yeah, I'm very involved in it, really.
So, Melanie, how many staff have you got then?
Well, we've got a lady called Sue who really runs it from day to day. And then we've got quite a few young people who come and help. And we have a big agricultural college near us, and they have animal management training courses. So we have quite a few of their students who come along and then stay. So that, it's something people enjoy doing. But you do see all of human life there. I will always remember the first 2 RSPCA cats that came in were unusually brought in by their owner. And it was a sort of, I suppose he was in his mid-30s man bringing in 2 cats. And it had been the result of a divorce. And he had a job which meant he was going to Europe almost every week. He couldn't have the cats himself. And I think this was the last thing to go of the marriage. And he sat in the pen, he said, I'd just like to say goodbye to them, sat in the pen with them and bawled his eyes out. He really did. And I will never forget that, just, the depth of emotion. Actually, we managed to find a lovely home for the 2 cats. And in fact, it was an elderly lady that I knew. So I was always able to let him know what was going on. And then, I remember a knock at the door on one occasion, and I opened the door and there was a man there in his 90s, an ex-GP. And he said, I'm an old man and I want an old cat. So we were able to team him up with one that, shared his days. And lots of lovely stories. And it's not just the heartbreaking stories of what's happened to the cats, and you don't always know. And they do come in having been cruelly treated or locked in a box and left on the common or thrown out of a car or stuck in a tree because it's got a collar on and, not being able to get out, and terrible things. But actually, the people who come along and want to adopt them often want to adopt the ones who have been most hurt. And you do see the very best in people. They will just arrive with such love to give. And
isn't that one of the things? It's one of the things that heartens me. I tell you, in these days, in these difficult days, one of the things that has encouraged me more than anything is seeing in the countries where they've been, Poland, in Germany, when people have come off the trains from Ukraine.
Oh, they've got their budgies in a cage, haven't they? Yeah. And their cats in their arms. Sorry, I'm knocking the mic. But yes, heartwarming.
And these wonderful people just go, oh, where do you want to go?
Yeah.
We'll take you wherever you want to go. We've got room in our house. Would you like to come and live with us?
The German community that were lining up, like in the war when the Wunderkind came across England. We can put up 6, we can put up 2. I feel like saying we can do that too.
Yeah.
Come and stay
Sue
with
and I,
me.
we were exactly doing that because my friend Tony, my accountant, he suddenly said, he became very emotional about it, unlike him, and he just said, we've got to help. I felt we've got this big house, we're empty now, the children have gone, what are we doing? What are we doing? Can we have somebody here in the short term, short to medium term?
While they just get their breath back.
Yeah.
Really.
Just being human beings. And I say this to people out in our community, in the JV community. If you feel that that's something that you could do, the system is coming online very soon. I think it's not coming on soon. Yeah, it is, because they had to go through a number of hoops. I think the government were talking about a number of processes. I mean, they can be quicker than they always can be quicker than they are, but about immigration status, etc. Because the people, of course, they're talking about staying for 12 months or possibly for 24 months. And I think it's a long haul. Then people are not going to be, they need to.
The homes won't be there, homes. Will they?
No, they won't.
And if they are, would they want to go back? I mean,
they want to go back? And if it's going to be a new regime, it's probably going to be under Russian rule. And so we, without becoming, political about this. Well, I don't mind becoming political about it. I think actually that we see the best of people when we see this, and in Germany too, Pam, with the history.
I know.
With the history in Berlin, of all places, you see the open-heartedness of the German people and the Polish people. And I just think...
are there echoes of one powerful, evil man who has no humanity in a position of power where they can't question? They're too scared to do that. I mean, I think they're rounding them up, aren't they, in Russia, if they're showing any dissension.
Any signs of dissent, yeah. And I think that it'll be in a gulag. They'll be off to the gulag. And you know that this is the case. This is what's going to happen. So actually,
do you think they might rise up? I mean, there's so many people.
I can only hope. I can only hope.
I think and pray, actually.
I think
pray for them.
Think Putin has underestimated the power of the population. There were 27. There were in 27 major cities in Russia. There were protests yesterday, and there are massive Christian communities in Ukraine, and our own Spraying Harvest helps in a group. They've established a Christian community in a place who are helping people as we speak. And I think actually that whatever we can do I'm not in a position at the moment where we can say as a community we can do anything, but I'm thinking about, and I'll talk to my charity about this and see whether we can help people out a little bit. Or we can find a way of doing something. I mean, Pam, I think this is a serious thing that we can talk to our listeners and our viewers about girding their loins and saying, I think actually we can do something. We don't have to sit by and wring our hands.
This is a country like ours. These are people like us, with homes and jobs that they've worked at and businesses that they've established and hopes and futures and children and grandchildren and peaceful that could be us.
Well, weren't you saying this last week, Sue?
I was. That actually, this had really struck me that they were houses like our houses. They were people dressed in clothes like our clothes.
With children that had the same
toys and pushing toys and prams and so on that I recognised, and suddenly it brought it home. That
this is our grandchildren, isn't it?
Yes,
exactly. Yes. Exactly right.
That could be bombed. Yes. That could be shelled. The kindergartens are shelled. Young children are killed, and we cannot stand by. This is not what the Christian community does. It doesn't wring its hand and say we don't get involved in politics. This is when we get involved. It's
very difficult, though, isn't it, to know how this is going to play out. And
in the big picture, yes,
my question is always, whatever you do, what happens next? You have to think beyond just your anger or your pain or your reaction, that whatever that reaction is, that it doesn't cause a reaction that's worse. You're dealing with someone who's not being logical, are they?
No, and he's an unpredictable character. I think actually that we as broadcasters, you, me as a singer, but as a kind of a troubadour of hope, I think we've described me as ours. But this is one of the things we try to lighten the load in some senses, but I think we also need to turn and confront. There are times when we need to confront evil, and I think this is one of those, and it is one of those. And Pam, I bless you for your work. There was one other thing I wanted to ask you about. I was going to sing a song, but actually, I'd just rather talk to you for a few seconds. And it's this other arm to you that is just quite incredible. And I've just written 2 books. How many have you written, Sue? Pam? How many have you written? Go on, say it.
27.
You see, that's just showing off, Pam Rhodes.
No,
that is just showing off.
That happened. I don't know how that happened. I have written quite a lot of books about hymn writers, and I love the stories behind the hymns, because I think the reason why we connect so closely with the words is because when wordsmiths express what they're feeling, that the emotion, the human condition, which doesn't change down the years or even down the centuries, when we're feeling in the same way, it just gets us. And I think beautiful words set to just the right music, they just echo within us, and they're comforting and they're encouraging. So I do love hymns, but I like to know the story behind why that man wrote them or that woman wrote them. And so I've written quite a lot of books like that. But I started writing novels some time ago, 1995, when I was asked to write a book about behind the scenes at Songs of Praise. And I started thinking about all those many interviewees I'd got to know who'd been deeply moving and so inspirational, and realized that I couldn't tell their stories because they'd moved on. I'd kept in touch with quite a few, but I couldn't tell the stories of people who'd moved on. So instead of that, I decided to have a go at writing it as fiction, where I could just take the nuts and bolts of some of those stories, change the characters completely, but actually have, quite a good fun, but also quite a true reaction to some of the stories that I've heard over the years. And I didn't know if I could write dialogue or whatever, but I tell you, when I was going along to Songs of Praise recordings and people came up to me talking, because I did it, the book was about a Palm Sunday Songs of Praise being made in Suffolk. They were coming up talking about these characters as if they were real, which is really encouraging. Well, then I was asked to write 4 mainstream novels for a mainstream publishing house, for Holder. And then had a bit of a break really from writing that sort of book at all, but just couldn't stop writing really about all sorts of things. And the latest actually is a trilogy. A trilogy. Now this is the first one. It's spring. Hang on, can I put it there? Springtime at Hope Hall, it's called. And Hope Hall is a big old memorial hall that's actually 100 years old in 2022, which is, or 2021 or whatever it is. And then it's throughout the year. So there's the springtime, then there's summer, and then there's Christmas. And the story continues in that there's a group of people in the middle who are the nub of it. But then all the activities that go on, from, literacy for foreign students to food banks, line dancing, keep fit for OAPs, tap dancing.
I'll be there for that one, darling. I'll be there definitely. Keep fit for OAP, Sue. Here's one for you, my love.
So lots of stories that are very moving and great fun to write. So that is lovely. So that's called Hope Hall. But actually, the nicest book, I think, the one I've enjoyed most was this one, Arthur's Garden. And
Arthur's Garden.
I don't know if you can see at the bottom here, there's a plaque that says Arthur's Garden. Well, I was asked by a publisher to write a sort of collection of gardening quotations, and I thought, that sounds a bit boring. And I looked out of the kitchen. I looked out of the kitchen window, and there was a wooden plaque there that said Arthur's Garden, and it came from my great uncle Arthur's garden, who was born in 1906 in a terraced house in the Medway Towns, with one of those long, thin gardens, of which there were hundreds, not just in Maidstone where he was, but all over the country. And his father loved that garden, and he lived there until 1986, a whole 80 years he lived there tending that garden. But of course, there were 80 years that saw the First World War and his brother marching off to the trenches and never coming back, the Second World War with the Battle of Britain over the skies of Kent while he was digging for Britain down below. And I just wove in the story of a whole family of relationships and stories rounded about all these quotations, and it was just such a labour of love, and I've never enjoyed a book more than that one.
See, that's a real. We're going to really get that out there. Arthur's Garden. Have we got Have we got the website?
Yeah, the website's up on the
Is
screen.
Yeah,
website?
I have to apologise to everyone because I never ever update my website. You can contact me through it, so just drop me a line if you want to get in touch with me at all.
Well,
but
yeah,
I probably
people
haven't
want
even
to buy
got
the books.
pictures of some of these. I'm just terrible at that. I sort of need an 8-year-old around to help me sort out my website. So.
Yeah, you probably
One
do.
of these days when I'm doing
swipe
nothing.
backwards and forwards. Basically, that's what you need to. My two-year-old granddaughter picks up a phone and says, "Grandad, what are you doing? This is how it goes."
I know.
And it's so embarrassing, isn't it? But Pam, your books are available. Are they available through Amazon, or would you prefer
always
that people buy
Amazon.
them from you?
Yeah, Amazon. But tell them to get in touch with the website. Just put in Pam Rhodes and up will come the website. And if they send me a message, I can tell them what they want. And of course, then I can send them one that I've signed for them as well. So they'd be
that would
very,
be
very
great.
welcome.
Because I'd like to do that, because actually you've been quite a formidable person within the area of broadcasting, writing as well, but also changing people's lives. And we thank you for that flow. And it has been consistent, Pam. That's the one thing.
But do you know, I've actually been on Songs of Praise today, so it's 36 years at Easter this year that I've been on Songs of Praise. I am, of course, ticking the box for diversity as an OAP in the presenting team, but I don't mind that a bit.
No,
just every now and then, it's nice to be on it.
You're not looking like an OAP girl. I tell you what, that sandpaper in the morning, it's really working. That's all I've got to say.
All right, lovely.
Now, Pam, it's been lovely talking with you.
You too.
And just
stay
people
well.
have always enjoy you. Don't forget, everybody, please go and get this book, particularly Arthur's Garden, and look at the trilogy. It's all available online. Pam, thank you for thinking of us when we were ill and mentioning us constantly on the programme. Thank you for playing our music. That means a whole lot to me. People often write and say, "Oh, she's playing this now. Oh, she's playing that now." And
I play an awful lot of your music, I must say.
Well, we've recorded something like 15 or 16 albums over the years, so happy listening.
It's not surprising then, really, is it?
not really.
Right.
Anyway, God bless you, and
you too.
It's lovely to speak to you. Thank you for giving up the time
All
tonight.
right, bye everyone. Stay well.
God bless you.
Bye.
Bye-bye, love.
Bye.
Bye-bye. What a lovely lady. And always,
She is a lovely lady.
She's a woman of many parts. And
Extraordinary. I think every time we speak to her, we discover something else, don't we?
Something
and,
lovely.
sort of.
Now,
she's,
his eye.
unchanging.
We want to do his eyes on a sparrow. I think something. Somebody asked for that one.
Yes,
didn't
they did. It was a lovely suggestion. Both Sue Marsh and David Airy suggested it because of the times that we're in. It's the times that we're in, and we need to know that God has his eye on us. I'd also like to suggest it for our friends Julia and Simon. I know they're watching tonight, so it's lovely to have you in the room with us. And they've got COVID at the moment, so we wish you well, and we wish you a quick recovery.
Yeah, lovely to have you with us, guys, and I hope things get better for you soon. Okay, and this one. For you. Why should I feel discouraged? And why should the shadows come? Why should my heart feel lonely and long for heaven and home? When Jesus is my portion, a constant friend is he. His eyes on the sparrow, and I know he watches me. I sing because I'm happy.
Yes, I know He watches you and me. And David Airy, we sing that particularly for you in memory of so many concerts that we've done over the years with you, when you used to come and help with Compassion. And you and Sue, we've missed you coming up north. We haven't been up north for ages now.
No, we haven't.
Can
so many of our concerts.
Yeah, so Sue, talk about our concerts with you, please.
So many of our concerts at the moment do seem to be down south. So if you are up north and anywhere up north, anywhere north of the Watford Gap would probably do, and you fancy thinking about hosting Jonathan, then all you need to do is to write to me at sue@jonathanveira.com, and I can send you all the blurb about it, and you can have a think about it, and you can talk to people about it. I've got little videos of me chatting about Jonathan and what it's like hosting a show, so that you can show to people so that they get a flavour of what's involved, because he's a very difficult man to describe. We all know him and love him, but if you've never come across him before, you think, really? Someone who sings everything and he's funny? I don't think so. Not possible. So, but we have lots of tour dates coming up, and yes, the next couple we've got, particularly on Friday, we're at Hazelmere Hall. So if you are anywhere in Surrey, you want to get yourselves down to Hazelmere Hall on Friday, because it's going to be a lovely evening, and it's a lovely place to have a concert. So it'd be great to have a few more people down there. The following Friday, we will be in Virginia Water at Christchurch. Yes, close again to us. So these are all nice for us because they're sort of within travelling distance, aren't they? Which is really nice. Next month, we start off on the 1st of April, which could be a joke, couldn't it? Haha. In Devizes in the Corn Exchange, and again that's a lovely big space, so buy your tickets for that. Do you remember Andrew Robertson coming on and talked about the charity Seed for Hope, and they are raising money for that, so it was a great charity where they go out and they help people and train people, and so we would really like to support that. So that's the 1st of April, lovely space, and it would be great to see you. And another one in April, we are going to be finally doing the Hastings one on the 9th of April. So I'm going to stop there because there are many others, and they're all on the website. And if you want to know how to get the tickets, they're all on the website. So I would just say Jonathan Veira's website.
And this is for Dougie Robertson, who's 71 tomorrow. This was requested.
Yes, so lovely Kathy suggested it for Dougie, and also she said, could we mention their daughter Gemma, who's just proved positive for COVID, so not much fun.
God of the moon and stars, God of the near and far, God of the fragile hearts we are, I come to you. God of our history, God of the future that will be, what will you make of me? I come to you. God of the meek and mild, God of the reckless and the wild, God of the unreconciled, I come to you. God of our life and death, God of our secrets unconfessed, God of our every living breath, I come to you. God of the rich and poor, God of the princess and the home, God of the ever open door, I come to you. God of the unborn child, God of the pure and undefiled, God of the pimp and pedophile, I come to you. God of the war and peace, God of the junkie and the priest, God of the greatest and the least, I come to you. God of the refugee, God of the prisoner and the free, God of my doubts and certainty, I come to you. God of our joy and grief, God of the lawyer and the thief, God of our faith and unbelief, I come to you. God of the wounds we bear, God of the deepest dreams we share, God of our unspoken prayer, I come to you. God of a world that's lost, God of a lonely, lonely cross, God who has come to us, we come to you. We come to you. The best version of that,
It's an extraordinary
Recorded.
song. Absolutely extraordinary
And
song.
it's a wonderful, and I sing that for so many people. I sing that for Paul tonight,
Yes.
actually.
Yes.
Because Paul Field, who won't be listening tonight, but for Paul and Ruth had broke her ankle well before Christmas, had the whole of plaster, 6 weeks plaster, the whole thing, and they found out that she's got a bolt in the wrong part of the foot. They have to operate again, and she has to be in the plaster again for 6 weeks, another recovery period. And it's been difficult, and I just spoke to Paul, and they're finding life really, challenging. So we think of Paul, his
We do.
brilliant lyrics, just around the
Absolutely.
bend.
I mean, just That song,
It's just
you know,
still-
it was like just everything that's happening in the world at the moment was named.
There
and
it was.
It's an extraordinary song, and it just...
And it speaks to our times.
Yeah, completely.
I've sung it for
completely.
15 years plus.
And it's still
and I will
so
sing
fresh.
it until I die.
Yeah, it's
because
just
I
a
believe
fresh
it
song.
so much.
So true.
Rachel, come and talk to us very briefly about YouTube, please.
Yeah, come on then, Rachel.
Come on quick.
So Rachel's going to come and sit next to Jonathan, and she's going to explain about YouTube, because each week I try and tell us about YouTube, and I struggle. So
Okay,
she is going
let's
to
go.
try and make it all clear. What are we looking for?
Come on.
Okay, got it. It's all right. We got it.
Let's go. So Rachel, you talk. Why should we subscribe to YouTube? Tell us.
Well, to subscribe and the benefits of like YouTube is if you like the videos is that you show that you enjoyed the video and that it gives us a gauge on what you are enjoying. If you comment, it's the same as like, but it gives us encouragement when reading all the comments. I read them as soon as they come through. I read them all and they're fantastic. It means a lot that you've taken time out to watch and leave us a note on what you thought of the video. Subscribe and share the videos around. The more subscribers, views, likes and comments we get, the more YouTube will recognise the JV channel. This means that YouTube will recommend the JV channel to more people who may or may not already watch JV stuff. Hashtag share the love to many more people so they too can enjoy a bit of JV. Okay, we need enough of that. Our goal is to get over 1,000 subscribers. This is the next level of YouTube in YouTube land. We're currently on 689. Can we get to that 700?
Oh, I'm sure we can.
I think with the help of Worthing, we can certainly increase by another 50 at least.
So when you're saying that, you mean another couple of hundred subscribers?
Yeah,
is
we
what
were
you
sort
want
of like, we need to get to that 1,000 goal,
Yeah.
we need if I do my maths correctly, 311
Yes.
people.
Yeah.
We're trying to get all of JV's videos and information in one place. So, if you subscribe to the YouTube channel, this will help. So if you've got like another email or YouTube account, subscribe with that. If you've already subscribed, just keep going and
So you can subscribe for any email account that you've got.
Yeah.
Excellent.
so keep going, keep subscribing. If you've got like if you've got like a church YouTube account, subscribe with that one, or that's for an example. So on JV's YouTube page, look out for the community tab. We can post a status very similar to Facebook, like on the news feed or wall. So if you are drifting away from Facebook, you can still get the information, and like to keep in touch. So when we're going to be live, or when Jonathan and Sue are out on the road, or keep in contact. So finally, hit that bell to be notified and be the first to see JV in action, either in the Steinway Room, online shows, or other stuff, including any exclusive videos from JV from home or on tour. So
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel.
it's all right.
Thanks for saying that. That's good. Sue, any more?
So yes, you need to, as we said about YouTube, and we've said about the shows. So basically, jonathanveira.com is where you need to go if you want to look at where there are shows, but also if you want to buy anything, because we've got loads of CDs and books available at jonathanveira.com, and it would be lovely to be sending them out to you in packages, all signed up, ready for gifts or whatever. So if there's something missing from your collection, you can go on, you can have a look.
In this
you
project,
can,
for example, 1 and 2,
yeah.
particularly 2.
Yeah.
Let's get that done.
Yeah.
Don't forget also, you've got a friend trust. If you'd like to add to that, you can just write to an Adrian. Pennant will be delighted.
You will.
To receive £1, £2, £3. It doesn't matter. What it does, as I always say, it's the math of the multiples. And in doing so, you're helping many other people. And you're helping those who are less well off, and we can expand the work. We don't want to get too big. We just want small amounts of gifts. Okay, so that's what we want. So just a coffee. If it's a coffee in a week, contribute that. Okay, that's all we're asking. But those of you who cannot contribute and you are literally on your beam ends, and you need help
Yeah,
yourself,
please tell us.
then tell us. Just write to me privately and say, JV, I need it, or I know somebody who has. And that's what this God of Friend Trust exists to do, to help you or a friend of yours. They do not have to be in the community. They definitely do not have to be of faith. They do not have to have anything. They can turn up. Remember, this community is of faith and no faith. We finished tonight in the traditional way.
We do.
Forgive me, my voice has been a little bit dodgy and my piano playing even dodgy, I think, tonight. His Eyes on the Sparrow, I have no idea what chords I was playing then. Sorry about that to all of you. I must practice that before I sing it next time. This one, I think Sue knows this one, and it's lovely. We sung it last night and people really enjoyed it, so it goes like this. I think you know it a little bit. Go peaceful in gentleness through the violence of these days. Give freely, show tenderness in all your ways.
Through darkness, in troubled times, let holiness be your aim. Seek wisdom, let faithfulness burn like a flame.
God speed you,
God lead you, and keep you wrapped around his heart. May you be known.
by love. We sing this for Lynn Bird tonight. May you be known by love, and God bless you tonight as you're listening.
Be righteous, speak truthfully in a world of greed and lies. Show kindness, see everyone through heaven's eyes.
God hold you,
Enfold you and keep you wrapped around his heart. May you be known.
my love. And we think too of David and Roz. I don't know whether they're listening tonight, but as we complete, I don't know where you are in the scheme of things with kidneys, but we think of you tonight as we sing, the Lord bless you and keep you. For Karen Spicer, we think of you too, having difficult times and not feeling well. The Lord make his face to shine on you. For Jerry, who's actually having his machine turned on, hopefully it will stop his CPAC machine, take over from that, and he can breathe and sleep with his sleep apnea, the operation he just had. The Lord bless you and keep you and give you his peace. The Lord bless you and keep you. I think of Liz Ormiston tonight and Tom. With Sharon too, who's been looking after us so well with her own loss of her brother with Chris. The Lord make his face to shine on you. We think of Chris and Judy Steele too. We pray that God will bless them in whatever they're doing and in the struggles that they have. The Lord bless you and keep you and give you his peace and give you his peace. Sing it with me. The Lord bless you and keep you all over the country.
The Lord bless you and keep
The Lord turn his face toward
The
you.
Lord
Turn his face toward you. The Lord bless you and be gracious and be gracious to you. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord turn his face. The Lord turn his face toward you. gracious and be gracious to you. Be gracious to you. We thank Pam Rhodes again for joining us, and may the Lord bless you, right, Pam, and keep you, and all that I haven't mentioned. The Lord make his face to shine on you. For Christy and Lucas in Australia. The Lord bless you and keep you, and give you his peace, and give you his peace. We'll see you very soon, maybe next week. We'll see. Stand by your television sets and your Facebook
We'll let
pages.
you know.
And don't forget YouTube. We'll see you then. We hope you enjoyed tonight. God bless you and have a good week.
Thank you, Rachel.